Oh, I'm sorry. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another amazing episode of Off the Record at LACED. I'm your host, Gina, and we got Team Jet coming down today. And I'm pretty interested to see, off the record, what the fastest woman in the world has to say. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm your host, Rashard. I'm here with the lovely Gina Views, and we got a special guest here with you guys today.
Carmelita Jeter.
Carmelita, why are you and your brother so fast? Is it something in the genes? Who does it come from specifically, mom or dad? How could you explain that?
I think it came from my dad. You know, my dad played minor league baseball, so he was fast. He played basketball, so we got a lot of our athleticism from him.
Mm-hmm. Did you feel pressure to have an athletic career because it's a shared talent throughout the family?
You know, we were pressured because we had to go to college. And so my dad's motto was, I'm not paying. Mm-hmm. You know, so you have to either be smart or you have to be really
talented.
good in sports. Mm-hmm. And I'm not going to say me and Pooh are not smart, but we definitely chose the sport route.
Now, how did you get into track specifically? Because I know the family basketball kind of came first, and I know you hooped first.
Yes, I did hoop first. I did. I taught Pooh what he knows, just so you guys know that. So we did grow up hooping first, and in the 9th grade, the basketball coach says, you know, why don't you go out for the track team? You know, you're fast, you're running up and down the court, you might as well stay in shape. I'm thinking to myself, I'm a baller, I'm not about to run track, you know. But I'm out there anyway, and I get out there, I'm a freshman, and there are all these juniors and seniors, and I'm actually beating people, and I'm running fast, and I'm just running, just head back, just swinging my arms, nothing technical at all. And I made varsity, and as a 9th grader, and I was not on varsity for basketball. So my dad is all about Lettermans. You know, he went to Cooley High in Detroit. So a Letterman jacket is like a Bentley to him, right. You know. So when he found out that I was going to get my letter, he was super excited. And then I took track to another level because I'm like, okay, my dad's really happy right now, and I actually get all his attention by myself. I don't have to share it with Pooh. I don't have to share it with my brother Damon. He's coming to my track meets, and so I just decided I'm just going to stay with track.
Okay, now you grew up in Gardena.
Yes.
So how was it growing up in Gardena? Were you always into the sports, or were you did you ever have any time for the boys?
Okay, so I was loving basketball. So my first boyfriend busted my lip, on the basketball court, threw the ball in my face on purpose because he was mad because I was guarding another boy and he thought I liked him, which I did. So I run in the house and I'm like, Mom, he busted my mouth. And she's like, oh, he just like you. So I always, dated, but I was the tomboy. I was the homegirl that hung out with the boys, but Tory Roan was his name. I loved me some Tory Roan. So that was my basketball boyfriend.
Okay.
Now, at what point did you start growing out as a tomboy?
Because I don't see it right now.
Okay, so in track and field, the guys really looked at the girls, and you always had to have your hair done, and you was at a track meet all day. And so I went to Bishop Montgomery, and the guys were cool, but Sarah guys were at the meets, and Carson and Dorsey and Westchester. So you saw different types of guys when you went to the track meet. And so you saw how they circled around certain females. Their hair was done. Nobody really wore lipstick. You wore gloss back then, right? I'm telling my age. So I was like, okay, I got to start getting my hair done because these cornrows and this pushback ponytail is not working. They looking at me, but they're not looking at me. Yeah. So I started getting my hair done every Friday, and that was when you didn't wear weaves. You had to show your crop.
Your wraps.
Guys needed to see what you had going on back in those days. And so I get my hair done every Friday, and I really got out of the tomboy stage when I started running track, where it was more I wanted to be the ugly girl. I was dating the captain of the football team. That was the motto.
Okay. Now it's rumored that you worked at Chuck E. Cheese.
Yes, I did. I was 16 years old.
Do you remember the theme song?
I was a birthday hostess, and so if I hear the song, at Chuck E. Cheese, at first time we all aim to please. That birthday song. Happy birthday! I was a birthday girl, so I love being a birthday girl because you got tips. So you would work. I worked on the weekends and I worked like 2 days out the week. And you know, when you did birthdays on Saturdays, you would come home with like $300. And you 16 years old with $300 extra dollars. It's like, okay, I'm gonna get my hair done. I'm gonna get some Adidas. You know, so I definitely loved my first job. I remember I dated the guy that worked in the kitchen. What was his name? Jason Rodriguez, I believe his name was. And he made the pizzas.
Chuck E. Cheese has the best pizza.
Chuck E. Cheese does have the best pizza. Like, don't sleep. We used to be in there eating pizza, cleaning up. I had a good time at that job. Very good time.
You know, transition, high school, you at Cal State Dominguez Hills. At what point did you realize you had a world-class league? Because I know I'm faster than everybody. I did this in high school, but at what point did you say, like, dang, I can really take this to the Olympic level?
Probably my senior year of college. My senior year of college, I was a little more serious. I wasn't hanging out as much. And you know, you're in college, so those are the years you're supposed to do all that stuff. And I did a lot of it.
So would you say you were a late bloomer as far as the Olympics?
I was a late bloomer. Okay. I was a late bloomer because I didn't take it serious in the beginning. And that's why I was a late bloomer. And once I did start to take it serious, I was like, oh yeah, this is what I'm gonna do.
Was this somebody you beat specifically to let you know, or did you just know that the work you put in?
You know what? I lost. I raced at the 2004 Olympic trials in Sacramento, and I lost to Marion Jones and a group of other people. No, but it was a group of other people. And I said, if I take this serious, I can actually be here and win.
Do you remember what place you came in specifically?
I came in 7th out of like 9, but I knew that I didn't really push myself enough to really be there. I was there because I ran a good time that allowed me to be there, but I wasn't there because I was supposed to be there, if that makes any sense.
Well, now you're labeled as the fastest woman in the world. You're like a superhero. How does that feel that you're labeled the fastest woman in the world?
You know, I always tell people when I first ran 1064, which made me the second fastest woman ever, I was so happy and so excited and so, like, I just ran 10.6. Like, only other woman to do that was FloJo. And I got so much backlash for running fast. And it took away the joy of being the fastest woman alive. You know, and it was unfortunate because you just had the Marion Jones who had gotten in trouble. And so everyone had her on this pedestal, and when she fell, it just ruined a lot for track and field for women in general. And so I come along, I'm no spring chicken, I'm older, so everyone's trying to figure out how the heck am I running so fast? And instead of asking me the right questions, like, well, Carmelita, what did you change? Carmelita, what did you do different? How did you get your body to run 10.6? It was always an assumption of, how did she run that fast? What was she doing to run that fast? Is she really that fast? You know, so I never really got to enjoy my 10.6 because I was always on alert. I was always ready for the scrap, I guess you could say. Like, oh, okay, y'all about to jump me. Was always my attitude when I went into press conferences is you guys' intentions are not good right now.
Now, also, you being the age you were when you got to your peak, and also you being a smaller sprinter, do you think that added to the questions as to you being clean or not clean?
Well, the questions were A, because I was older, and B, because my body type had changed so much. You know, growing up, I was a skinny girl, 100 pounds soaking wet, no real muscle mass. And
Me
then
too.
but I was always still fast, and that's what people failed to pay attention to. Just because I was skinny, I was still fast. And then when I got with my coach, John Smith, what he did was put on 20 pounds of muscle. So then I went from 110 pounds to 140, 135. I was just a beast. So if you add beast to actually working out and training, and now you got a little money, so you eating well, you sleeping well, you're not stressed out, you know. So all of that changes the dynamic of running fast. But, you know, no one asks those questions.
Right. Now, a personal question of mine is, what was your favorite country or stage to compete on?
My favorite country or stage to compete on? I've been everywhere. And I would have to say I loved running in Monaco.
Is it because of the venue or just because of the weather or what's specific?
First, it was because it was the Jay-Z video.
Okay.
You know, I was like, I'm going to Monaco. It's big pimping. You know, I'm about to see yachts and stuff. And that was my mindset. And then I went to Monaco every year for the past 8 years. And every year I learned something different. It was new. I always got my coach to camp at Monaco. So we have to camp somewhere for 2 weeks. And he's fancy. He's super fancy. So I'll be like, you know, JS, this is the perfect spot for us to camp. You know, Monaco is what it's at. You can get all the wine that you want because he's a wine connoisseur. And I always got us to camp in Monaco. So Monaco was the best place for me. I was able to relax. I was able to shop. I was able to go all around the city. They even have the Monaco Grand Prix if you follow racing. I enjoyed Monaco.
What's the first thing you bought when you got as a professional? You got your first check, first bag.
Splurged on.
What can I say on this show? Let's see.
Yo, you can say whatever you want. It's off the record.
Hey, this off the record.
When I got my first medal in 2007 and I came home, I was buying everything. I'm not gonna even lie. You name it, I was buying it. I was like, we're going to the club, we're getting bottles, you know. So I did the club thing. I did the Range Rover. I got a new Range Rover.
What color?
It was midnight blue. I got a midnight blue Range Rover. I bought Gucci this, Gucci that, Fendi this, and then I bought a house. So my house was my big purchase. Mm-hmm. But before the house, I did just buy stuff that I always wanted, like things you always wanted to do. Like I'm just going wild out at the club, you know. So those were the things that I did when I first got a little money.
Now, for those that are kind of ignorant to the situation, they would think that since track athletes aren't on TV, like football players, baseball players, etc., that y'all aren't pulling in the bank. Mm-hmm. Now explain to those that don't know, not necessarily how much money you have, but what streams of income and how you can make money as an athlete who's not year round.
Well, we are actually year round,
Oh,
so it's okay. We start training in November, and season's not over until September. So you really only get a month and a half of rest. That's 8 weeks, maybe max. 6 to 8 weeks is pretty much what you get. And then you're training all the rest of the time. The season is indoor season, and it's from January to March. And then outdoor season is pretty much the end of March to September. So it's a very long season. And your contract pretty much matters based on how well you run. You know, what you do determines how much money you're getting in. So if you're a female that's top 10 in the world, or you know, then your money would be that, you know. Certain contracts, you had to be a certain number in the world to keep your money coming. So I've been with Nike from 2007 to 2016. I was with them for a long time. I'm probably the longest person that's been with them that long, because usually people leave and then they come back, and then they leave and they come back, but I never left. There was no coming back. I stayed the whole time. So running track can be very good if you're actually winning, you know, because when you win medals, your contract has bonuses for your medals. So it determines what your bonuses are in your contract. And then let's say you run 10.6. Then, okay, no one ever expects a female to run 10.6, so they put a bonus up there that they know you're not going to get, then they get mad when you get it. So it's all about bonuses in your contract and what number you are in the world, and, you know, how many years you can keep a contract. I was fortunate enough that I did well during the years that I ran, and I was able to purchase a house, and then I purchased another house and got some income property. So you have to be smart too with your money, because it's not going to last forever. You're not going to be fast forever. And one thing I always tell people is, okay, it's great to have a nice car, it's great to have a house, it's great to have your jewelry and your clothes, but you got to have stuff that you can actually benefit from. You got to have things that you're actually going to get something back from it. You know, all those other things depreciate.
Guns
and
butter.
Yes, exactly. those things, after a while, the purse, you're not going to want it anymore. You pay $3,000 for it 3 years later. You're trying to sell it at a yard sale or something. So I always tell people that you need to invest in something that you can get back. And the number one thing that my dad always told me was get you a house. You know, because once you have a house and you have equity, you're never really broke. You know, you can always pull some money out if you need it. So I always tell people it's great to be an athlete. It's great to have things and show what you have, but you got to also have the things that people don't see.
Now, how was the transition going from being, like you said, it was year round and just training, competing to being retired? Like, how do you spend your time now?
Well, I haven't officially put my retired letter in. Yes, I haven't officially did that yet, and I'm still getting drug tested to this day. How crazy is that? I said when I woke up one morning and just decided to push the submit button, then I'm gonna do it, and I haven't done that yet.
Is 2020 a possibility?
Oh no, 2020 is not a possibility. I'm still training though. I actually just went to practice this morning with my coach John Smith and did 3 times 300s. So I'm definitely still working out, but I just have to. I told him I was gonna train for 6 weeks, and then after the 6 weeks we'll do a time trial, and then we'll make a decision.
On what?
On if I'm gonna retire or if I'm like BAM!
So if you don't retire, then we get to see you in 2020, or
No, you're not gonna see me in 2020 regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, that's just way too far. I'm 37. You know, I still have some other things that I want to get done. You know, so 2020 is a little too far. Mm-hmm.
What's your relationship with Allison Felix?
Oh, Al lives around the corner from me. We actually talk on the phone a lot. Very sweet person. Very, very sweet person. So we're not BFFs, but we're definitely friends. I definitely will call her a friend.
You're both pretty dominant on the field. Have you ever had any ego trips?
No, we haven't. It's so funny. People ask me that. Like, do you and Allison like each other? And one thing I always tell people is, whenever me and her are around each other, we are fine. We've been in press conferences where she will sit there and be like, looking at me like, Jed, you gonna answer the question? Like, she was like, Jed, you answer it. You do it. I don't want to do it. You know, we've had that relationship where she'll be like, you got it, Jed. I'm just gonna chill and just wait for you to do it. You know,
funny,
then
people automatically assume like if two women are in the same field, they automatically clash, and it doesn't have to be like that. It's
unfortunate because it does happen like that with women. Sometimes there's a lot of jealousy with women, and it's unfortunate. And I've always said that the reason why two women can't get together is because one woman don't really have her stuff together. And I say that to say, if two women both have their stuff together, they can high five, they can talk, they can Mitch Matt, hey girl, what we doing? Because you both got your stuff together. But when there's one that's not quite got her stuff right, then that's the one that's gonna hate. You know, it just is what it is. And being that we both have medals, we've both done things, there was never a you know, it's like, shoot, I'm doing it too. Okay, you do it too, I'm doing it too. You know, let's do it together. So that's always been my mindset. I don't have time to hate.
Take notes.
You know, check my resume. It's official. You know, so I just feel like when people hate, it's because they really don't have a resume. There's really they're not official and they're trying to pretend.
It's an insecurity thing. Now, what was some of the soundtracks to some of your biggest needs? What was going on in the headphones like prior to some of your biggest races?
You know, it determined who I raced, what music I played. So if it was someone that I did not like them, then it was everything vicious. Like vicious. Just every cuss word, just I'm mad, I'm about to beat this, you know what, out of you. But then I would have meets where my song choice would be Aaliyah. And I would be on the bus, let me know. It just mattered how I felt that day. But for the most part, my music was always Kanye West, Jay-Z, Tupac, Nas, just fire. It was always fire. And if I was in like a subtle mood, but it was like crazy because when I was in that subtle mood, it was like Assassin. So when I was on that Aaliyah or listening to Mary J. Blige, that's when you should really be worried because you're like, why is she so calm?
Because you already know.
How has the Team Jet Track Clinic influenced your community?
You know, it has allowed a lot of young kids to come out and work out with me. You know, you ask yourself when you were growing up, how many times did you ever meet somebody that you actually saw on television? And I don't even think I can even mention one person that I actually saw that I could touch, that I could be like, oh my gosh, I met, not, oh, I saw them from a distance. Like, we talked, I showed you some things. So that's the whole purpose of the Team Jet Clinic, is so people can really touch and feel a real life person that they see on television. So then they can say to themselves, okay, I have a dream. I have something I want to be. I'm inspired. You know, that's the whole purpose of the Team Jet Clinic, is to inspire people to be better. You know, nowadays it's really hard for young girls or young guys to have inspiration because the leaders are not leading. So when I do my clinics, I just do them for inspiration. All of the clinics are no fee. They're just, I did one with Compton, you know, the kids from Compton, we were working out, we were showing them techniques. And the whole thing is just, I want you guys to go back and get something that you love, even if it's not track. You know, just get something that you really want to be. And so I can see you on TV a couple years from now saying, when I met Carmelita Jeter at yada, yada, yada. That's what I want to hear.
What does this mean to you?
This means Brenda Washington. This means my aunt. In 2012, my aunt passed away to breast cancer. And this means so much. I probably wouldn't even have my medals if this didn't mean so much to me. Of course, I probably would have gotten medals because I've always gotten medals. But my medals were something that had to happen, not something that I wanted to happen. Like, I had to get these medals at this Olympics. And it was because of her. I told her I was going to make this team, and I made the team. And when I lined up every race, I lined up with a vicious mindset. And I never got a chance to be excited after each race. So after I ran the 100 and I got second, of course I was like bummed because I got second, I'm not gonna lie. And then I was like, wait a minute, you told her you was gonna get a medal, you got one, chuck it up. And then I went to my room and I cried for a little bit because of course I'm a competitor. If you're not upset about a loss, then I don't know why you're there. And then I came back in the 200 and I got third, which was like, because I'm really not a 200 meter runner. But I really never was able to celebrate those medals. And then in the final, when we broke the world record, I got the gold. If you notice in the video, I'm screaming, I'm hollering. It's because all those emotions, my aunt's not here, but I know she's watching. I just got all these medals for her. I was so emotional, and I showed the world. And that was something that I don't normally do. I'm not a person that shows people how I feel and shows people an emotional side of me, and people were able to see an emotion. And maybe they thought it was just because I was so happy because we won, which I was, but I was so happy because I accomplished what I said I was going to do.
And we cannot leave without taking the jet to the LACED Olympics. We'll be right back after this. Welcome to the LACED Olympics. Lacers, take your spots. Are you marked? Get set.
She started early.
Oh, okay. You marked. Get set. Go.
But that's what she do for a living.
Right. And I celebrate.
That ain't fair.
You need a tiger?
Got a winner.
Okay.
I thought we just had the
I thought it
LACED.
was the first winner. The first person. Winner, chicken dinner.
Of course, the stylist gonna win.
Of course.
Of course.
That's what I said. That's what she do.
This is
She
what
get
happens
people together.
when you celebrate too early and think the race is over.
You know, I don't even
You end up
have
in last
laces.
place.
Me neither. I got a zipper.
Oh, you got
I
laces.
got a zipper. My tutu's on a slide.
Slip these
Some
on.
real exotic
Well,
shit.
thank you.
One more time.
Thank you so much for playing with us. Our first ever LACED
First.
Olympics. And we'll be right back after this.
That was fun.
Hey.
Okay, I know here at LACED we real messy. You know, we like to get off the record with our guests, make them real nervous.
Stir shit.
Okay, all right. Cooking.
Rashard, what you got for off the record?
For my first off the record question. On the athletic circuit, did you ever sleep with anybody?
You gonna start it off like that?
Oh, I'm gonna plead the fifth on that one.
Good answer.
Great answer. race?
My dad gave y'all that answer. That question.
Everybody.
We
put
just
the
gonna say the network.
The network.
The network wanted us to
The
ask you that.
network.
Oh, he messy. Oh, he messy.
So you always test clean.
Yes.
So we want to know, performance-wise, do you have any advice for any other athletes who use drugs to perform?
I mean, I don't even know if me and the person that uses drugs to perform speak the same language. So I don't even know what advice I could give them because I didn't do it and I ran 10-6. You know, one thing my dad used to always say to me is, "We never desperate." You know, and if you know you're never desperate, then that's not even an option.
Now, has there ever been any off-track fights with teammates that dictated a race or carried over into a meet? Like some cattiness or just a fight? Or
You know what? It was never any fights. But it was a big issue in 2012 when Jenna Batarmo didn't run on the relay.
What was the cause
And
of that?
I picked Bianca Knight. And Bianca Knight was a stronger runner. Not necessarily faster, but more confident runner. And that made a lot of issues. But we broke the world record.
In the midst of all that. Now, you got a story from the Olympic Village? Anything that happened? Anything that...
I do have a story from the village. I had my own room in the village, and in my suite, it was my room, and then there were 2 other rooms, but the 2 women were in each room, so I was the only one who had my own room. And I always laid in the room with my door closed. I never kept my door open. And apparently they were having like this first round in the 100 meters, but this was like a preliminary round, so you were pretty much like really slow if you were in this round. And so I wasn't in this round. And one of the people in my suite, her name was Jenny Simpson. Jenny Simpson won the 1500. She was one of my suite mates. And so she was eating in the cafeteria. And the cafeteria was about half a mile away from our suite. And so she's eating and she sees on television, because when you're eating, they always had TVs in the cafeteria. And so she's eating and she sees the 100 meter is running. But she knew that I was in my room asleep. So she stopped eating, she ran, she's a distance runner, but she said she ran like she was a sprinter, all the way to the suite, and I hear her running through the hall screaming, "Jet, Jet, Jet, get up, Jet, Jet, get up." And I'm laying in the bed like, who the hell is screaming like that? And she's banging on my door, banging, 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 banging. And I opened the door like, what's the problem? She's like, you're missing the race. And she was like on 20. Like she was on 20 trying to make sure I got out of that room. And I was like, no, that's not for me. That's the preliminary. And she was red. She sat down. She had to catch her breath.
That's crazy.
That was a moment. Like, it made me actually feel really good that somebody cared enough to do all of that to make sure I didn't miss my race.
So like at the same time, I'm not really gonna miss a race.
Right. But I was sleeping a lot when I was at the village because they had me doing so much. Like I was doing interviews all the time. I was always doing something. So I was always tired. So she knew that I was sleeping a lot. So she thought I overslept.
Has your brother ever had any girlfriends that you did not like?
Which brother? Pooh? Did Pooh ever have any girlfriends?
And please feel free to name drop, to describe the person, whatever, off the record.
You know, some of the girls, I don't even remember their names. Like, me and Pooh were always very close. And so I would basically just be like, nah. No, not that one. She ain't it.
No.
Hit it and keep it moving.
You're not going
Like,
to Hollywood.
that was how we talked to each other, and I would say that to him, like, but there was no real girlfriend that I did not like. Some of them I just felt were a little messy or just were, in it for reasons of, of course, gold digging. But those I didn't even bother to even like, I was just kind of like, do what you gotta do and keep it moving. That was always my mindset with him.
Was it ever an athlete or anybody that you felt like was any competition?
I always felt like I was my biggest competition. Yes, there were people that when we lined up, if I didn't perform well, they would beat me. You know, Shelly Ann Frazier had an amazing start, but I had an amazing finish. And if I didn't start good that day, she was going to run away from me. You know, those are things that I did know. You know, I did know if Veronica Campbell ran a hard curve in the 200 and I didn't run my race, she would beat me. So I knew certain people pluses. I knew their advantages over me if I didn't execute well. I always would say that I was my biggest competitor, because if I did everything right, you saw what I did when I did everything right. I ran 10.67, then I ran 10.64. I run 10.70 a bunch of times, you know. So if I don't do it right, yes, you have the opportunity to beat me. But there were women that made me have to like check myself, like, you better get it done today. You know, it was Shelly Ann Frazier, Allison Felix, Veronica Campbell Brown, Karan Stewart, Lauren Williams at a time when she was running very, very well. You know, there were so many athletes that I had to show up when I lined up. I couldn't play with them. So, but my biggest competitor was myself. But there were women that I definitely give my hat off to them, because if they lined up on the right day and put their stuff together, they was waxing me.
For world record purposes, has anybody ever approached you about doping or just doing stuff to enhance performance?
No one's ever approached me in doing that. And I feel like no one's ever approached me because I already come off as if it's not an option. You know, I feel like, just like with anything, just like a young girl that gets approached by an older man, he approaches her because he sees something in her that makes him feel comfortable enough to walk over to her and speak to her. And I feel like I carried myself in a way that I didn't invite you to do that. You know, even on my worst days, even if I didn't win a race or I had pulled my quad and I was hurt, there was never a opening of a door for you to come and ask me that. So it's pretty much about how I feel like it's what someone sees in you. And if they see weakness, I've never been weak. I've never been a weak person. So if you don't see weakness in me, you're not gonna approach me with a shenanigan.
Okay, she did pretty good in the hot seat. Okay, all right.
I didn't answer a couple questions. I'm sorry. I don't know who asked y'all those other two questions.
I don't think this season we had anybody not answer the question, but it's okay. It's all good. But she did pretty good. The Jet did good
I'm
in the
sorry,
hot
y'all. My dad watches this. Certain questions I'm just not going to answer. I was just raised a certain way.
Well,
so sorry about that.
That was Off the Record with the Jet. We'll be right back after this. The Jet brought her stylist here to show us how she lays. So go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Noelle Smith, and I've been knowing Jet for
Since 08.
Since 08, and we've been working together for the last couple years.
Okay. Born and raised in LA.
Born and raised.
Who are some of your favorite hometown celebrity stylists that you have fun styling for?
Well, my favorite that I look up to?
No, like style that you ever
Clients.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I have to say, my boo, Jet. She was actually, I would say, my first client. I actually worked with her and her little sister, Kiki.
Sweet 16.
Yeah, so she was my first. I didn't start in styling, so when I decided to get into the business, she was the first person I worked with. I've assisted Monica Rose, who works with a lot of the Kardashian women, Kardashian Jenner. So I had a lot of fun working with all of them and kind of gaining a lot of knowledge of the business. And my client Lala Anthony, who I love because she's not from LA, but she's just kind of very down to earth and just.
She seems so LA.
Yeah, I know. She's lived out here, for many years. They kind of split between LA and New York, but you would think that she's from LA, so she's great.
Carmelita, I like calling you Jet. Why did you trust her?
Okay, so I'm gonna tell you the story about Noelle. My coach, John Smith, is her father.
Okay.
So Noelle, to me, was like a younger sister also. And then she was working at Gucci before she was styling. And, you know, she would always get my gifts and basically say her dad gave them to me, but she picked them out, you know. So when she was talking to me, and she would always come to my house and we would talk, big sister, little sister talk. And she said, you know, I'm going to start styling. I want to start styling. And so when she said that, if anybody that knows me know, if you're a friend of mine or I care about you, whatever you have going on that I feel like I can help out with or I can, you know, make some things happen, that's exactly what I do. So when she told me that she wanted to get into styling, I said, well, Keyshana Sweet 16 is coming up. Style her for her pictures. She styled her for the photo shoot, which was actually amazing. And then she got all the outfits. Keyshana changed about 4 or 5 times. And she looked amazing. And I said, okay, so Noelle knows what she's doing. And as she was styling other people, we would talk. I would give her advice. Then I said, okay, well, Noe, you start styling me for these events I have to go to. Oh, excuse me. So then she started styling me for my events. The ESPYs, she styled me in this, what was the name of it?
Zimmerman.
The Zimmerman jumpsuit that had everybody like, what? So I trust her. I trust everything that she does. She puts she goes through my closets. She puts all outfits together. I have racks on racks on racks in my house just from Noelle putting things together with shoes, jewelry, everything. So I trust, you know, she knows what I like. She knows that I do like nice things, but I'm not a person that has to have 8 different brands on at one time. That's never been me, and she knows that. So she could throw a tennis shoe, a Yeezy or something on with something else, and people wouldn't even put it together that way.
Right.
So I definitely trust her judgment.
Well, you did good for your first client.
I
done been through about 4 or 5 stylists.
It was a lot of pressure, but we worked it out.
So do you feel like as a stylist, when you come outside, you going to the grocery store, you going to check the mail, you going to the club, you always have to be on point, like anywhere you go?
Yes, I mean, to a certain degree. I guess I have a really good way of throwing, in my opinion, I'm like throwing on sweats and a t-shirt, and somehow people think it's like
It's cute.
so cute.
I was like,
and
well, can you put
amazing.
that together for me?
She's like, I literally will run over to her house because she actually lives down the street from me, and I'll throw something on just to go over to the house and drop something off. And she was like, where are you coming from? I was like, nowhere. I just literally
You was
threw
not
it.
dressed for somebody
so-
else. Yeah. I'm
It's
not-
dressed to me.
It's certain outfits like that
Yeah.
like it looks good on somebody, but it's like you feel like, dang, it didn't look
It didn't look that way.
Yeah.
And especially now, the casual look is kind of in, like the sweats and the, you know.
Sweats
so,
with heels. And stuff.
yeah, so and I'm like, that's what I've been liking to wear all this time, so it's just perfect.
Okay, so tell me about your worst experience styling somebody.
I wouldn't say I've had, you know what? It's not that you have the worst experience. There's just some clients that can be more difficult, but I have had a hiccup. It was actually probably with yours. So every stylist, like, you know, the general, like, you have a kit, and in your kit you have like your emergency things that you may need, like a sewing kit, a boob tape, or, you know, shoe insoles or different things. But I'm by no means a tailor. So Jet put on a jumpsuit, and it was fitted to her to the T. And I think maybe walking around too much, or it honestly, the tailor could have just done it a bit too tight in certain areas. A hole. It burst at the seam on one of the seams, and so I had to, but she was like walking out the door.
Oh, okay.
So I'm running after her, trying to sew her, but I'm not a tailor. Like, I don't sew, I mean, I sew emergency, but nothing like very well. So I sewed her, and it was like the wrong color, so I had to take
Wait, so
thread.
she's walking out the door, like leaving the event, or she's
Yes,
going
no,
to the
she's
event?
going to the event. She's leaving. I'm trying to sew her up.
Uh-huh.
I literally probably have 2 minutes, and I'm like, you know, trying to hurry, and also trying not to, like, she has to wear that. 'Cause
Right.
we don't have any more time. And so
because I didn't want to wear it anymore. And the jumper
I
was
wouldn't let
so
her.
bomb
It was
that
bomb.
she
I
was
was
like,
like,
no, we
you're
wearing this.
I was like, it was perfect.
Yeah.
And so I'm running after her, but then I'm also I don't want her to walk out. You never want a client to walk out the door feeling uncomfortable with what they're in. So I'm like running after her, and I'm telling her, I'm like, it'll be fine. Like you can't tell, but the thread is a different color. So I'm taking a Sharpie. And I'm coloring the thread so that you can't see it. It worked out. It was great.
That's
but it's like those.
thinking, though.
I know you have to think
like
on
that.
your toes. It's like those moments that you're like. I probably went home and drank an entire bottle of wine because I'm my father's child, and I literally was like, I need to come down because it's stressful. But
It was stressful.
But it came out great. The pictures look good, and that's what ends up mattering in the end.
So talk to us about your shop, Shop Runway LA.
So I started Shop Runway LA with a business partner. I've actually wanted to do an online boutique for a very long time. My aunt in New Orleans, she had a in-store boutique, and I've just always been interested in that side. I used to do a little buying back in the day, and so my business partner came to me, and she actually brought the idea, even though I had already kind of thought about it years ago, but I never really acted upon it. And we just literally, I think I might have told you like on a Wednesday, and like the following week we were like already like buying and doing everything. It happened very fast, but it just seemed right. As Carmelita said, I love to mix high and low. I worked at Gucci years ago, and so, you know, I kind of started in the fashion business in that kind of world, but I used to, by any means, I like was not buying Gucci all the time when I was there. Like I couldn't afford to be laced in, you know, head to toe in Gucci. Laced.
Yeah, I like that word choice.
So, you know, I would go and I would find how to mix my maybe Gucci shoes and my Gucci bag with, you know, less expensive outfit. And so it was kind of like a game. Like I would kind of find the cutest thing that I could pair with everything. And that's kind of what, you know, I've kind of always had that mentality. So when the boutique came, it was very organic, and we literally started in November, and it kind of just like, it's you know, it hasn't been that long, but we've been doing really well. And talk about our number one client. I mean, and
I support
she's
people.
very supportive, and I also like, I don't always tell her when the new stuff is in, because I don't want her to think I'm pushing it all on her, because she is my client. But she'll literally text me like, okay, I need this, and this, like, can you drop it off tomorrow? I'm like, all right, cool. Sure.
Do you have any tips for like other business owners that are starting off or trying to get to where you are?
It's a lot of work. I knew it was going to be a lot of work, but it's 10 times what I thought it would be, and that's not a bad thing. But if you're thinking of going in, right now I feel like I have 5 jobs, and so, you know, you can't go in with the mentality that it's going to be like a side thing. It's definitely, you have to love it. You absolutely do. You know, you have to have the passion and the love there, because without that, there's just so much that goes into it, and if you don't have that, it's just gonna swallow you.
Right.
You know?
All right, before you get out of here, I want you to tell me, who is the flyest baby out of these 4?
Okay.
Is it Blue Ivy,
Okay.
Junie,
Okay.
Saint,
Okay.
Royalty?
I gotta go with Blue Ivy.
Blue Ivy?
And not just because of, you know, everybody's on the Beyonce bandwagon, but I think they really dress her so cute.
Yeah.
And I love the mommy me thing. Like Beyonce will dress her like they look really good.
I love their Halloween.
Oh
together.
yeah, the Coming to America.
Yeah, they do really good for
Yeah.
Halloween. Fast Family does really good for Halloween too. But we already talked about
yeah.
Halloween. Go ahead and plug in your social media. Tell everybody where to follow you, where to shop.
Absolutely. I'm Noelle Smith. My Instagram is M as in Mary Smith, and my boutique is Runway LA, and Instagram is Shop Runway LA.
This jacket is Shop Runway LA.
So are my shoes.
And this choker.
And these.
Oh, I have to ask you, what is your statement piece?
On today,
Yeah.
I would say the shoes.
Okay.
Little pop of color.
Uh-huh.
I don't do a lot of color.
Mhm.
I love like black and white. So my velvets.
Scooter Styles came to us and taught us about the statement piece, so I had to ask
Oh yeah, you
what's the
always.
statement piece.
I always tell you that.
Mhm.
I always tell all my clients when you put too many things in one outfit,
Mhm.
it becomes a hot mess.
Mhm.
So one
thing has to
statement
pop.
piece.
Mhm.
That was another tip.
Yeah. Sorry, I
Only
should've
one
said
thing
that.
needs
One
to
thing.
pop.
One. If it's a small thing, you can maybe do two, but it needs to be two small things.
Okay.
Don't do a shirt, pants, boots, and your purse.
Yeah,
It's
too
like
much.
a mess.
And your belt and the
Right.
hat. And the hat.
And that's how Noel lace. We'll be right back after this.
Thank y'all for joining us. I'm your host, Rashard. You can catch me on Twitter at RayShareF, Instagram at Rashard90302.
I'm Noelle. You can follow me on Instagram, NM Smith, and Shop Runway LA.
And I'm Carmelita Jeter. You can follow me on JetG5 Instagram, Carmelita Jeter on Twitter, or CarmelitaJeter.com for my website.
You can follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Gina Views. And don't forget, follow the show on Twitter. We are LACED OTR. Instagram is Off the Record at LACED. And make sure you tune in every Tuesday. We'll be back with another dope episode.
Hey!